Hello everyone and welcome back to Barber vs Barber. I am your host Miguel Gutierrez, also known as the Nomad Barber, and today we're going to be going over the semi-finalists to see who's going to go through to the finals to take home the glory and be the overall winner of Barber vs Barber. First up, just a quick note from my guest judge today, and then we're going to hear from the two semi-finalists, Ben and Dion.
Hello, I'm Pete Cranfield and I've been a barber for 20 years, and I'm really excited to see what the UK talent has to offer.
Well, my name's Ben, I'm 25, I've just opened up a Barbers in Manchester, so I opened up my first shop. Today I'm going to do a scissor cut using various techniques with a bit of a texture razor and layers. So this time I want to do more techniques in my cutting. I felt like I kept it pretty safe. So I want to really show what I'm capable of doing really, technique wise.
So my name's Dion. I'm barbering 4 years, working at Dublin currently in a shop called Cut and Sew. And the haircut today I can kind of mess around with because I actually got a model this time, so it's a bit easier, but I'm going to be doing just a skin fade, probably quiff it over to the side with a bit more wax, maybe just a kind of shinier look, hard parting, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I think last time I don't think I expressed myself at all. Like, I was kind of a bit in shock, like I wasn't expecting it, so I'm delighted. Even to get this far, it's a great experience. Like, so even to be here today is amazing. Like.
And as we start this semi-final, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, so stay tuned to enjoy the haircuts that the barbers create. Welcome again to the next round of Barber vs Barber. Congratulations first and foremost for getting through to the semi-final. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're still going to get your 45 minutes, but you're not going to be wearing headphones. You're going to be talking us through the haircuts. We're going to be asking questions, so that's why I haven't asked you to put your headphones on. So whenever you're ready, we can get going, and just feel free to tell us any techniques you're doing as you're going, and then we will ask you questions, but don't feel like you have to talk constantly throughout. But think of us as like a warm-up to the final where you'll be doing a live presentation. So when you're ready,
Good luck, lads.
go.
Ben, go first there.
So I'm going to do a full scissor cut with a little bit of tapering here on the edges just to clean up the necker and the sideburn. And we're going to do a little bit of razor cutting as well to get a little bit of texture in there. So I'm
going to do a skin fade today. Hard parting on top. I have a bit of length to work with, so I always like to cut the top first and create the shape for the rest of the haircut, and then I fade down, so it just helps me do it the best way I cut it. Yeah.
And where do you find most of your like inspiration in terms of cutting and where you've learned? Where does it all come from?
I'd say social media's massively at the moment. You know, I've been barbering 10 years myself, and it's I'd say in the last 5 years it's all, you know, so much content and videos and stuff to watch, and you can actually see how barbers work, you know, in day-to-day life in a salon.
I think social media is definitely big. I only started barbering 4 years ago, so I'm kind of one of those barbers that came in when it's all social media, like, you know, and it's not as much learning in the shop, but I kind of try to use it to benefit me as much as possible. Like, so even during the lockdown, I done a lot of online kind of learning and stuff, you know, so I think it's a lot easier for us to learn than like when you started 20 years ago. You know, it was all kind of like by word, like, you know, by mouth, like, so.
So would you generally always start on the top these days, or?
Yeah, definitely fading. When it comes to scissor cuts, I start on the side. But yeah, with fades, I find it easier to take away all the bulk and just be able to fade down, blend it in before I get to. It just makes it cleaner on the sides for me, like, you know.
Definitely a new thing that, innit? 'Cause when I started up, that was like unheard of.
Yeah, when we started, it was just like, I mean, even up until a few years ago, it was back and sides, bang it out, and then as lengths have got, you know, longer on top, and then more hairdressing has come into barbering, we've had to adapt and kind of learn, and I think it's always a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Definitely advanced, you know, the technicality of the way us old timers cut hair. What are you up to now, Dion?
Yeah, I'm just gonna section off the top, and I have the parting put in. It's not haven't put a line in yet, but just gonna still have that bulk there. So I'm just gonna removing any weight that I have before I start my fade. I'll probably end up going in with the trimmer next and creating my line and just cleaning up, so I can have my start and finish, I suppose, and just fade in between. I just find it easier.
Is there a set technique you use for using the razor?
Kind of, mainly just feeling the hair, finding any little weight pockets that I feel. And then if you know anything that's feeling really heavy, I'll just kind of go into it a little bit more. Usually, you know, mainly at the back of it where it tends to be. And just kind of, yeah, just softening it in.
Is it just for bulk removal that you're using that at the moment?
Kind of, and to give the hair a little bit of texture as well when it dries. His hair's really heavy at the back, so I've done all the scissoring to put the actual length into place, and then I can just kind of freestyle it with a little bit of this. You know, do bits in certain areas that I feel like it needs more doing to it.
Do you ever use it to remove any length?
Sometimes. I love cutting with scissors though, so I like to just go over after with the razor. So usually I'll put the length in first with the scissor and then texture after.
Refine it,
yeah.
Do you make use of the half blades, Dion? You know, like the 1.5 and the 0.5? Sorry, guards.
I think I kind of make it harder for myself sometimes as well. I just kind of fly through the fade and then I'll go back and refine, like. So I don't know, I probably shouldn't, like, but it's just the way I kind of have it, like, you know. So, I don't think I could do a haircut without them, to be honest.
Tell you a horror story, Dion.
What?
We never used to have them. We only got them around 2012.
Yeah,
no, it's like, I don't know
We
how.
used to just
flick away. People are amazed by that powder, aren't they? You know, when you put it in a client's
So good, yeah. Because it's how strong it is, but you're not getting any shine on it at all. So it's.
That's time anyway. Perfect timing. So when you're working on stage, generally at the end, you're gonna go through what you did, what techniques you implemented, and just talk us through what you did. So, like, if you just want to talk us through it.
So with this cut, we did nice scissor cut on it. Took about 1/2 inch off in length, and then when I got the base shaping of the cut, I went back through it with a texture razor. To remove a bit of weight and give it that nice flowing finish, so it's not as, you know, heavy and sat flat. And then we just tidied up the sideburns with the foilers and a little bit of clipper work. So like a really short taper. I wouldn't really, not really call it a taper, but a nice cleaned up the neck area, and then we've styled it, blow dried it, and yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, with mine, I just kind of done the top, quick run through the top, profile section, blended in, just took in the weight and the size because it was hanging over, so I kind of took all that off, just made it a bit cleaner. Then went in just 2 guards, started taking away all my weight and started to fade in. I didn't actually end up putting in the hair parting. I just kind of thought it looked nice like that, a bit softer. At least that within in 2 months' time he'll be able to change the haircut, it won't be stuck in there, like, you know. So yeah, just threw in a bit of wax and styled it up a small bit.
Which product did you use?
The pomade, or whatever you call it.
The classic pomade.
Yeah.
Right, shall we go check out the haircuts and
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, let's see what they've done.
Right, I really like watching this haircuts happen because it's not something that you typically
see in a barbershop.
Yeah, I mean, more so now you would see it, but
Yeah.
not so much obviously when, you know, when we were coming through.
Yeah.
Old school
It's the
style.
kind of stuff I like doing as well. So
Yeah. You noticed that I used like different techniques. I used a lot of hairdressing techniques, diagonal back, lots of flowing. I did notice he kept on getting a little bit lost around this area, but I don't know if it was just because he was redoing the length. I couldn't really tell. Oh, but I don't know if it was also because he was nervous as
I was
well.
going to say it's easy to do that when you get caught up in
You see him on the back the way he started.
yeah.
So it's interesting that he's got these bits coming back and then he's
lined out
lined
underneath.
out. I feel like it could have been maybe a little bit
A little bit cleaner.
cleaner on there. But you do sometimes have them little accents that add to the haircut.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
That length coming around the back of the ear kind of adds to the haircut.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it's not the easiest hair to cut.
No, not really. It's like fine,
like-
loads of it, but
Loads
just
of it,
fine
fine.
texture, like mine.
What is it you liked?
I liked the fact that he was using hairdressing techniques, you know. You can see that he's got that hairdressing background, and it's, I don't know, I'm instantly attracted to that kind of
Yeah.
then techniques being used, you know, in a man's haircut. I like the styling of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess it up. This round, you've got to scrutinise a little bit more because
Yeah.
didn't really go through anyone's hair.
I'd
last
have
time.
probably made a little bit more of that thing out of this, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite a. Do you mean the taper?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very shallow, but it's very current as well.
Yeah.
That's where like
Yeah,
our
a bit
mind
different,
thing,
yeah.
we want that transition to be a bit more.
Yeah.
Tapers weren't even a thing. When we
No.
were starting, that was a very American thing,
Yeah.
and now it's like how
Yeah,
it's gone
throwing a
from,
taper into a long haircut.
yeah, how that's gone into from like these stretched out tapers in America to now implemented into our hairdressing haircuts in the UK is mad.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's, but as I say, personally, I would have maybe just gone a little tiny bit more with it.
Yeah.
Maybe just this little bit here. But
So you can see it more because
yeah.
almost from
Looks
this,
like it's
from
like
one
a
angle
squared
it
off
looks
side
like
then.
someone's just
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
like that and boxed it off. But then at the same time, you don't know what the client asked for. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So,
and it's nice if you know when you do push it back and you can see underneath there and
yeah,
see what he has done. It's nice.
yeah. I like that he used a few different products as well to achieve the look that he
Yeah,
wanted.
definitely. Yeah. And you can see that he's used a razor to chop that off on the ends. You know what I mean? It's
Personalisation and different techniques, and
refining.
lots of point cutting, different angles.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
I mean, we were looking at this as you started, and you could tell like the fade was going to be pretty immaculate.
Yeah. Sorry, block. Nice colour hair to fade in.
Yeah, it's like that.
Good head shape as well to
Yeah.
fade.
In terms of like, you can tell this is what he does, you know, day in day out.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Skin fades or
Yeah.
like short, like zero fades, classic side parts and stuff. I like that he decided to not go with the half parts.
Yeah, me
'cause
too. Yeah,
half parts is not something I like doing
yeah.
because I feel like they just grow out not quite right.
Yeah. It interests me how a lot of people are like keeping these weight lines now as well. You know, like keeping it quite weighty down
Yeah.
to the faded area.
Yeah.
It seems to be like quite a big thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it got towards the end, and I was thinking, oh, he's not going to finish on time,
Yeah. Managed to.
but he did.
Yeah. I suppose if they're working to, what did he say? Half an hour he works to
Yeah.
in the shop. So
Yeah. In terms of fading, and especially like the lads who've only been doing it 4 years,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
people have been cutting for 4 years to this standard.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty terrible at 4 years in when I
Yeah.
look back.
Yeah, same. It's interesting as well. It's nice to see that he's kept that like square shape, even though you can see the head goes in here.
Yeah.
He's kept it nice and square.
It works, but some people's maybe head shape it wouldn't. So maybe some digging in with the clipper of a comb might have worked in some regard. But I feel like there's a little bit around here that could have maybe gone over. A little bit away with the head end, and had he had a bit more time. But that's that's little details where personalisation on that haircut. The personalisation on this haircut is getting those little bumpy bits out.
Yeah.
But styling wise, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I like that little kink and the little wave into
Yeah,
it.
I like that. Yeah. It's nice that he's kept that bit of natural, bit of natural movement in it.
Like when you think of Barber, and especially Barber in 2014-15, this is what you think of, or this is what I think of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the scoreroom haircut. So
Yeah.
Like a less harsh version of the scumbag boogie. Looks nice.
Yeah, very nice. Really good.
Right, should we go score them and point them up?
Yeah.
Once again, we're going to hear from the semi-finalists, and then myself and Pete are going to go over the point system to see who we're going to send through to the finals.
I was pretty happy with what I did, to be honest. Maybe if I could go back, I'd possibly change how I had the neck sitting at the back. Could have left it a little bit more natural maybe, but as I was cutting and it were flowing together, I just kind of went with that style, and I was happy where it looked. I think it looked brilliant myself, but just have to see what these guys think of it. So yeah. So when they initially said that you're not wearing the headphones, I went under a little bit. But then as it got going, I'd say it was probably better to actually talk through what I'm doing, because I do know what I'm talking about, so it just kind of flows naturally. So yeah, probably better to not have the headphones, as the music could be a little bit of a distraction. So if I got through to the final, I'd be pretty made up. And obviously these guys, top in the industry, so it'd be nice to maybe, after the show, maybe a little bit of networking we could do. And it just opens up more doors, hopefully. So I'd love to win it, to be fair. Let's see what happens.
I went in, I'd done a parting, didn't end up doing a hair parting. I kind of sectioned it off, kind of looked a bit neater, not as severe, so I kept it with that. Ended up styling it with pomade, which I changed as well. I was going to use something a bit drier, but yeah, I think the fade came out nice. I probably could have worked on the weight, could have took a bit of weight away. I think that was just more time. I think I was too relaxed talking and fucking cutting hair, and then when it came to it, then I kind of had to just fly through the scissor over comb, I think. Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved kind of being able to chat away and talk. Now there's obviously some words I could probably do with, I suppose, learning to describe what I'm doing and probably speak a bit clearer, because I don't think anyone can understand what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I came over just to be in this competition alone, that was my mindset. So I think that's why I didn't get nervous, was because I wasn't in it to win it, if that makes sense. I was just in it to be here and meet other barbers and enjoy the whole process. I think if I went to the final, it's definitely one of those things that if you came second, it's not as it's nearly worse. So I probably would be in it to win it if I went to the final.
So what are you thinking?
I think Ben's posture and stance on that was obviously more. Yeah. You could tell he'd learned from his hairdressing background. Yeah. So I'd say his was overall better. Hygiene-wise, they were both.
Yeah.
Not much complaint out.
When they're in this round, they kind of both know that they're going to be scored on that. So, yeah. I'm saying posture hygiene. I'd definitely give that one to Ben, just basically on the, Dion was still slouching over a little bit at times, when he could have just pumped the chair up a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of hairdressing techniques, while Ben, it was flawed in some ways, in terms of the techniques that he used, they were really solid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas Dion, I don't know, I suppose he was using the sectioning was good. And sectioning was great, yeah. I mean, where he was dropping his hands a little bit, where, losing the tension on the section. Yeah. But overall, it was great. Yeah. Barbering technique, I mean, I've got to give that one to Dion. Because I feel like Ben could have been a bit cleaner, around the taper, and the little bit around the neck. He could have pulled it down, or cover, or even gone in with the neckline, so the bits that are hanging over, cover that up a little bit more.
Or even just show us more of a detail, hanging over that.
Yeah. Styling, I think they were both great, to be honest.
Even on the styling, definitely.
Yeah. Even though there was a lot more put into that. I'd say that the finish on that still looked great, even though there was less of it. Most of it was at the start. Yeah. But I'd say even in the technique of the styling, but the use of product and knowing what he wanted to achieve, I mean, I'd probably give that to Ben a lot more. Presenting and education, I think they both did a great job, considering they didn't know they were going to be doing that today.
To be thrown into the deep end like that.
Yeah. I'd say even just in the sense that like they were still standing in front and blocking us from the view of what they were doing, but they both talked with conviction and confidence.
Yeah, they were both confident. I'd say Ben was obviously a little bit more confident speaking wise, but you know, to think that Dion's only been cutting hair for 4 years, and to be able to explain what he did explain to us is, you know, it's really good. 4 years in, I was stuttering, and you know, still am now, I suppose.
Based on what Ben did on the last one, he showed that he's got really solid barbering technique, because he came in and did a bald fade on a really like hard head to do it on. Right. And he did it really well, and the styling was great. So he just takes it for me in terms of what I think he's capable of to take into the next one.
Yeah.
So let's add these on.
And once again, here comes the hard part. We're going to see whether it's Ben or Dion going through to the final to compete for the overall winner title of Barber versus Barber.
So it comes down to obviously someone's got to go through. Do you want to talk about what you thought best?
I was saying to Miguel, it was crazy tight between you both. Obviously 2 totally different haircuts, both really nicely executed haircuts. It was nice to see obviously you know, using more hairdressing techniques, and that's something that I personally like to, you know, to do myself. And then Dion, you know, your classic barbering was really smart. Nice to see. The finish was great, and it really hard to, you know, to split you. But yeah, it's, you know, you've both done amazingly well. Be proud, and to say you've only been cutting hair for 4 years is incredible. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like once you get past into this round, it's splitting hairs. You know what I mean? Literally. In terms of critiquing, like there's certain things I noticed. You were getting a bit lost. It looked like you were getting a bit lost at times, and sometimes when you were getting the sections, you were like dropping the tension and your hands were going. I don't know if that was purposeful, but you kept on, you know, going over the same part. But I didn't know if that was just like getting the right shape and the right length. So it's hard for me because I don't know what your thought process was at that same time. Little things maybe on the taper we were talking about. Maybe would have liked to have been a little bit nicer, because from one angle it looks a bit just like wedged off, and then maybe on the neck it would have been nice to see that a little bit cleaner as well, with the styling. And then Dion, I'd say, was a little bit around the back. The fade could have been a little bit better, where like there's little bumps on his head. And again, like it's a classic cut. You can see that that's something that you could do with your eyes closed. Both such different haircuts, hard. So we've actually just had to use the point system, whereas last time it was like the point system and like kind of what we thought. And there was like a point difference, which is mad. But yeah, one person's got to go through to the next round, and that is gonna. And I don't want anyone to be disheartened again, like I said this last time. But yeah, it's gonna be Ben. I don't know, by 1 point.
Well done, mate. Yeah. Thank you very much.
But you know, you guys did incredibly well. You got another goodie bag, so you got even more. Nice one. But Dion, like, you absolutely smashed it.
Thank you. Nice one, Miguel.
And that concludes our first semi-final of Barber versus Barber. Thank you so much to our sponsor, STMNT Grooming Goods. Make sure you stay tuned for some final words from our contestants, and we will see you in the final.
Yes, I'd say very good experience. Good for your confidence building as well. If you've never done anything, you know, any stage work before or that kind of thing. And nice to meet, you know, people that are top in the business as well. So yeah, great confidence booster, I'd say as well.
Definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. I think even when you come over, you're seeing other techniques, and like as we said, the two of our styles were completely different going in there today. So I think we definitely could have both picked up stuff off each other, you know. And even having the two lads judging who are 20 years experience in barbering is amazing, and to get their feedback is great. Like.